Let's talk about songwriting today because I get asked these questions a lot. I know I cover a lot of the technical side, a lot of the actual gear side, but when it comes to creating music, writing a song is the first and most important part because it doesn't matter if you've got $1 million studio or all of the top end gear. If you don't have a good quality song to record, it doesn't actually matter. So, how do you write a song? What if you get stuck? How do you start out? Well, the number one tip I have for you before I jump into five other tips is when you don't know where to start, just start. Everyone starts at zero. So, if you're writing your first song, you haven't written a song before, just start writing. It's as simple as that. I know it's oversimplified, but it is as simple as just starting. Start with a melody, start with a rhythm, start with a loop, start with a chord progression, start with a lyric idea. It doesn't matter. Just start. Until you start, you haven't got anywhere. So that is tip number one. Super simple, I know. But what if you're like, Pete, I want to start, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to write about. I don't know how to start a song. I've never written a song. What do I do? Here's a few tips. Number one of the most daunting things about writing is that you think, I have to write a whole song, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, a final chorus, an outro, an intro. You get overwhelmed. So the number one tip I have for people starting out is to write a short song. So write a really short song. I'm talking 8 bars. GarageBand is perfect for this. If you use GarageBand on your iPhone or iPad, it defaults to 8 bars. So what I recommend is just start with 8 bars. Everyone can get their head around that. Just bring in some loops, bring in some instruments, put in a melody, put in a harmony, do something, but make it 8 bars. And just fill out those 8 bars with an idea, a hook, a chorus, a verse, it doesn't matter. But get that finished. And you might be thinking, what am I going to do with an 8 bar song? It's going to be like 20 seconds, if that. Well, here's the thing. Once you're finished with an 8 bar song, it may do a couple of things. It may go, oh, that was actually super easy. Now I can do a 16 bar or 32 bar, 64, 128. You can then expand out from there. Or you may go, hey, this is a really cool idea for a chorus. What if I add another 8 bars to the front of this and then make a verse and then another 8 bars and make an intro? So it could grow into a full song, or it could just be its own little mini song that you've completed. Tip number two, and this is one that I love doing. If you are super stuck and say you've been writing for a while and you're like, I want to write a great song, and everything comes out not sounding the way you want it, write a bad song. Deliberately sit down and write the cheesiest, worst song that you ever think. If you, like, I've done this before. I've said I've written rap songs, I've written country songs, and I'm not a country fan. I've written all sorts of weird things. You'll be surprised for a couple of things. One, it's never going to be as bad. If if you're trying to make something bad, it's really funny. It ends up actually sounding pretty good most of the time. If it doesn't, well, then it's a really nice, fun, cathartic experience. But you might find you get an idea for a hook or a little melody piece that you then end up using in another song. I did this with a song called Home. I wrote a song that was just like a dong ding 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 dong ding 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 ding, like a, it was supposed to be the cheesiest country and western style song. But what actually happened is I started writing some lyrics and then I developed some melody ideas. And I'm like, this song's pretty cool actually, and it ended up on my album and my first ever EP. So writing a bad song is tip number two. Tip number three, play a cover song. Like seriously, I know you're probably thinking I want to write my own original music, but cover songs, playing other people's music is a great way. So there's a few things that it does. It helps you learn about chord progression. It helps you learn about melodies and harmonies and rhythm and what works and what doesn't work for other people. And it also gives you an opportunity to add your own little custom flair. Like some of my favorite songs are actually people who have covered someone else's song but done it in a completely different style. I released a song, a cover version of Europe's The Final Countdown, the big 80s hair metal hit, but I played it on acoustic guitar and I whistled the little do 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 do, and it was super fun. And I actually really enjoy listening back to that song. So sometimes covering other people's music can be a great way to click yourself out of that mindset and get back into a creative mode. Let's continue on here. Number four, this is one. Grab a pen and paper right now and write this down. This is my favorite tip for getting started, and that is using speed thinking. Now, what is speed thinking? You might be asking. Speed thinking is taking a certain amount of time. I recommend 60 seconds. It seems to be a good amount of time, and then getting a pen and paper or getting a device. And what you're going to do is you are going to look at something around you. Doesn't matter what it is, if you're outside, inside, whatever. So I'm looking around here and I see light. So I've got my lights, my softbox lights coming out here. So what I would do is I'd write light at the top, I'd put 60 seconds on a timer, and then I'd say go. I'd be like light, light bulb, idea, idea, Einstein, thinking of ideas, shining a light, light around me, light on. You get the drift. I write down as many things as I possibly can, as many concepts, and I just let my brain flow from one thing to the next. This is my favorite way to write lyrics because you'll be surprised at where you get to. You can start with light and then end up with like dog hair somehow, like because one time you're at the vet and the light was shining off your dog's hair. I don't know, but you get my gist here. It's a great way. You get all these ideas down, and you'll be very, very surprised what your little magical brain can do. And tip number five is if all else fails, don't get frustrated. Go and do something else. Seriously, go for a walk, or in this case, go and watch some Netflix. Go on your treadmill, do whatever, lift some weights. It doesn't matter what you do. Go play with your kids, go play with your dog. Whatever it is, do something completely unrelated. And then what you'll find is if you give your brain a little rest, then when you come back to the songwriting process, you've got fresh ideas. If you're trying to keep pushing and pushing and forcing and forcing, your frustration level is going to grow and you're not going to get a great song in the end. So give yourself a break, let yourself walk away from it, come back, and you'll be good to go. I hope that helped. That's my 5 tips for writing better songs. And for a bonus tip, of course, tune in to studiolivetoday.com every day and watch videos and hopefully be inspired and learn from what we're doing here, and then go away and put it to practice and create, record, and release your best music.